It started over a parking spot, and somehow ended with the CEO personally reviewing security footage of me and a traffic cone. My name's Frank. I'm 59, I've worked at the same mid-size logistics company for almost 20 years, and until 8 months ago, I would have told you my life was pleasantly boring. Then Dale from accounting started parking in my spot. Now, technically, none of our spots are assigned. But for 19 years, everyone at that company understood, unofficially, that the spot closest to the side door under the big oak tree was mine. I'd claimed it my second week on the job, back when half these desks didn't even exist yet. Shade in summer, close to the door in winter. It was, without exaggeration, the best spot in the lot. Dale transferred in from another branch in March. Within his first week, I came out one morning to find his ridiculous lifted pickup truck sitting exactly where my sedan should have been. I let it go. Coincidence, I told myself. It happened again the next day. And the day after that. I finally said something to him directly, politely, in the break room. Dale just shrugged and said, and I quote, "First come, first served, Frank." Which, fine, technically true. But he'd clearly started coming in 15 minutes earlier than usual specifically to beat me there, which is a level of commitment to pettiness I honestly respected, even as it made my blood boil. So I started coming in earlier too. For about 3 weeks, this became a genuine arms race. I'd arrive at 7:15, he'd be there at 7:10. I'd push to 7 o'clock, he'd be there at 6:55. At one point I was getting to the office before the cleaning crew left, sitting in my car in the dark like some kind of parking lot sniper, waiting for the sun to come up so I could triumphantly walk inside. My wife started asking why I was setting 3 alarms. I did not have a good answer that didn't make me sound unhinged. The turning point, and I want to be clear, I am not proud of this, was the orange traffic cone. There was a spare cone in our supply closet, left over from some parking lot repaving the year before. One night, after Dale had gone home, I borrowed it and set it up in my spot, blocking it entirely, with a laminated sign taped to it that read, and again I quote myself directly, "Reserved, management." I am not management. I have never been management. I made that sign in about 4 minutes using a label maker and pure spite. It worked beautifully for exactly 1 day. Dale, apparently more resourceful than I gave him credit for, went and found an even more official-looking cone from the facilities department, printed his own sign reading Reserved, Safety Compliance Officer, a title that does not exist anywhere in our company, and placed his cone directly next to mine, effectively co-opting the entire strategy. Now there were 2 cones, 2 fake authority signs, and one increasingly baffled parking lot full of coworkers trying to figure out what was happening. This, of course, is when someone reported it to HR. I got called into a meeting I can only describe as the most humiliating professional experience of my adult life, sitting across from our HR director, Patricia, while she slowly slid a printed photo of my handwritten sign across the table and asked, with what I can only describe as barely restrained laughter, whether I could explain myself. Dale was in the meeting too. We would not make eye contact. Here's the twist nobody, including me, saw coming. Halfway through Patricia listing off the reasons this was, in her words, deeply unnecessary, our actual CEO, Mr. Whitfield, walked past the glass conference room, stopped, backed up, and asked what on earth was going on. When Patricia explained, fighting to keep a straight face, that 2 of our senior employees had engaged in a 2-month cone-based parking war, Whitfield didn't get angry. He laughed so hard he had to sit down. Turns out, Whitfield had been trying for over a year to get leadership to approve a proper assigned parking system, and had been repeatedly told it wasn't a priority. Our little war became, somehow, the exact case study he needed. Within a month, the company installed actual painted, numbered parking spots, with names on little plaques. Mine says Frank. Dale's is 3 spots down, which honestly still bothers me slightly, but I've made peace with it. We're friendly now, actually. Weirdly, going to war over a parking spot for 2 months is a pretty effective way to become close with someone. Dale even brought a real gift to my retirement party planning committee last month, unprompted, and joked it was reparations for the cone incident. The story doesn't quite end there, though. About 6 weeks after the new numbered spots went in, our facilities coordinator discovered that the original spare traffic cone, the one that started this entire saga, had gone officially missing from company inventory during an audit. Someone had to explain, in writing, on an actual incident report, that it had been reallocated for an internal parking dispute resolution initiative, which is corporate speak, apparently invented on the spot by Patricia herself, for 2 grown men fought over a parking spot with props for 2 months. That incident report, I later learned, got forwarded around leadership as an internal joke for weeks. Someone even framed a printed copy of my original handwritten management sign and hung it in the break room, where it remains to this day, right next to a small brass plaque Whitfield had made that reads, only slightly sarcastically, in recognition of the great parking resolution. Every new hire gets the story told to them within their first month, usually by someone gesturing dramatically at that framed sign on the wall. Dale and I still argue, jokingly, about who technically won. I maintain it was me, since my spot is closer to the door. He maintains it was him, since his idea for the fake title was funnier. Neither of us is willing to let it go, 20 months later, which honestly says everything you need to know about the two of us. My wife still brings it up at family dinners, usually right around the time I start telling some other, unrelated story with too much unnecessary conviction. This is the same man, she'll say, who set 3 alarms to fight a coworker for a parking spot. I don't have a rebuttal for that. I don't think I ever will. Some legacies you just have to accept, and apparently mine now involves a framed traffic cone sign hanging in a corporate break room for the rest of time, or at least until someone finally redecorates. If you've ever gotten way too invested in something ridiculous at work, I want to hear about it. And if you want more stories like this one, hit subscribe. We put out a new one every week.